Lisa and Lara were telling me for content, I need to back away from the camera, but I sit at the desk because there's so many buttons to push. I got to figure that out, Lisa. My expertise is in Shibboleth lifestyle management, not camera work, unfortunately for me. All right, y'all, we'll get started. It's Friday. We're headed into the weekend. This is when that old diet devil is lurking. We've done some work together in the last few classes, looking at yellow column meal combinations, meal ideas, along with some blue column last night. And it always allows for discussion on why we eat the way we eat here with the Shibboleth lifestyle, and gives ideas. So with Shibboleth, you basically have, let's just simplify it for a minute. In our minds and in our hearts, it can get confusing because there's so much information coming our way all the time. Weight loss is probably one of the most confusing things in America because of the plethora of opportunity and options and the plethora of diets and philosophies and books. But I maintain that we need a practical, sustainable, and fun lifestyle. I'm not aware of a single diet that works. Not Shibboleth, not long-term, not Shibboleth, not Weight Watchers, not Jenny Craig, not paleo, not keto. I'm unaware of any diet working long-term. Now, I am aware of some lifestyles that work, where some people are successful. They're able to keep the weight off. And you have to choose a lifestyle based upon criteria whereby, number one, you know that it's something you can do forever and that you enjoy it. And to me, I try to make the strong case every class that what is more enjoyable than the Shibboleth lifestyle once you learn it. There may be a little more to learn, but than some other program that's more restrictive. There may be a lot more to learn, but that learning curve is worth it because it is something you can do the rest of your life. I know people that's made a lifestyle out of carnivorism and been very successful. A lifestyle out of veganism have been very successful. I could not do that. So I would not be successful because I could do it for a little while. I could white knuckle it, so to speak, but I'd get tired of it. When it comes to your eating and how you eat, if it's difficult, if you think that it's difficult, if you think that it's going to leave you feeling deprived, you won't do that for long. And there's nobody around you that can make you do it either. So you got to find some way to remap, rewire, adjust, and move forward with some system, some management system as it relates to how you eat that you can enjoy. Yes, there is a more enjoyable lifestyle from an instant gratification standpoint. Eat what you want, when you want, as much as you want, as often as you want. The problem is all of the side effects that come with that. For Travis, he went on high blood pressure medication, type 2 diabetes medications, cholesterol medications, the list goes on and on. And, it didn't bode well for me. So I had to take an approach where it was more of a delayed gratification. But I still eat a lot of gratifying foods. I eat foods that are delicious and I lose weight instead of eating foods that are delicious and gaining weight. I just have to focus on what I can have and not on what I cannot have. Before we unpack today's lesson, we're going to do some work together. If you're driving, I know you'll just have to tune in. If you have paper, pen and paper, or access to the digital worksheets, you might want to tune in there. In that way, the more we can engage in writing stuff down or speaking it out loud, the easier it is to remember. And again, we don't get to explore that many meal ideas when we're talking about yellow column and blue column. But what happens is it opens your mind up to all the different things that you can have. And I digress a little bit. The lifestyle, it's really simple. If you just stop with all the information and you think, I'm just eating. I'm going to eat 3 times a day or less. If I have to have a fourth, that's okay. But I'm going to shoot for 3 or less times in a 24-hour period. And then I'm eating things. Let's use some popular food groups. Not really a food group, but you'll get the gist of it. For one of those eating episodes, I'm going to have a sandwich, or I'm going to have a hot dog, or a hamburger, or a salad, or a recipe, or whole foods that grow from the ground combined a certain way, or a meat and a veggie. So all the pizza, ice cream, what are you eating in that eating episode? Well, you can't come up with anything that Shibboleth doesn't have an insulin controlling, delicious tasting meal idea for. So why not just abandon all of that stuff that you used to eat. Instead of that Moose Tracks ice cream, if it's time to eat some Blue Bunny Sweet Freedom Bunny Tracks. You know, it's swapping what you eat. That's all it is. Simplifying it. If you would normally eat a sandwich, find out through Shibboleth how to eat that sandwich the right way. That insulin control is everything. Insulin elevates appetite, stores fat, stops the efficiency of your fat burning. It shortens lifespan. It destroys mitochondria. It causes your body to produce more LDL cholesterol. If we can stop insulin, we're on to something, right? All right. Before I get started, any questions? In case somebody has to leave, I want to make sure that I get all of your questions answered. Gina says, I'm doing the vault challenge, and this is the first time that I've gone more than 5 or 6 days without a holiday in about 2 years, 3 more days to go to the end of the challenge. No plan for a holiday Monday. Great job, Gina. That's a huge accomplishment. Applaud yourself. Glory to God. We know where that comes from, right? He gave you the unction to do that. Awesome job. Good deal. Any other questions for me in case someone has to go and you have a question that I haven't been able to answer via email that you have for me here and now? Polly says diabetes is the most evil disease. It sure is. It's a bad one, isn't it? I'm glad that if you're pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic, we can reverse that with ease. Did you hear that? With ease, with relative ease. If you're full-blown diabetic, well, you still need to manage that insulin that you're having to administer to yourself. You need to control the amount of medication you have to take. So let's manage the type 1 diabetes in a way where you can still live a long, healthy, high-quality life. And you do that with powerful food combining. Any questions? We got you, Polly. It's good to have you. Good to connect with you. Angela Parker's here. That means we can get started. Anybody got anything? All right. So we're going to start back with our yellow column combinations today. Let me get that pulled up for us. Some really good stuff. And it just opens up the mind, I find. It really does. Not just the ideas we're talking about, but you start understanding insulin control through food combining and the categories. And then all of a sudden, they don't seem so daunting. Pulling up. That's why I put it in digital worksheets. I can easily find where it went. All right. So we just come up with a few from the yellow column. Now, typically, folks want to stay with the red column because they want that fast weight loss. But, you know, as long as we get to our destination, there's nothing wrong with smelling the roses a little more on the way, on the journey. And we come up with some great meal ideas that would help anybody lose weight. And these were from our yellow column. So with your columns, if you're new to food combining, instead of us trying to sell you on a prepackaged meal that we're selling you, we just teach you how to go to your local grocery store. Everything you need comes from your local grocery store, and follow the plan and get better results than you can from Ozempic or Wegovy or anything else, just right out of the Kroger. It doesn't cost very much, so I guess people doesn't value it that way. Well, it does cost a lot to shop at the grocery store these days. You have to take out a personal loan to buy groceries, but still, it's a lot cheaper than the shots. and you get a better result, and you don't have the invisible side items that you don't have that with this, okay? So you've got red column is the fastest weight loss combinations. Like if you're looking to get ready with speed for some event, you want to get as many pounds off as you can. If you follow the Shibboleth shield in its entirety and only eat from the red column, and you can add in meal replacements that are -2, -3, you're going to get the very fastest weight loss. And you can do that in like you would think through instead of a long distance run. You ever heard about those people that they do these walkathons, but they sprint and then they walk, they sprint, then they walk, they sprint, then they walk. This is how the weight loss journey is. It's not a full-on sprint. You'll burn out, and a lot of people do. They try to be too extreme, and then they don't know what to do when they're not feeling highly motivated. So they fall back into old patterns. With Shibboleth, we fall back into Shibboleth, okay? But there's times when you're really feeling it that you can sprint hard and get, instead of losing a pound or two a week, you can lose 2 to 4 pounds a week. We do that with our red column, and we limit our holidays to 6 or less per month. When we get into maintenance, it's 12 or less per month. Anywhere between 6 and 12, there's still a little weight loss typically, unless you're really close to go. But you get over 12, you start seeing some gain there. But anyway, red column, that's the fastest combination. The new book has meal ideas galore for the red column and yellow column and blue column, so that people can understand these terrific meal combinations. But we've been talking about the yellow column. It's still very fast weight loss. As we go to the cooler colors, it's more important that we watch portions. Where we can really get in trouble is with our portions as we venture into yellow and blue, especially the blue column. But yellow column, it's pretty darn close to the red column. There's not a lot there that produces insulin. Really, the only thing that produces any insulin impact is your superfoods and some of the meal replacements, but we only put -2, -3, so you don't really get much insulin impact. But really the only problem here is some of the superfoods. And you have to be careful with your category 4s because they're going to be heavier in calories. They're going to be twice as dense in calories. A gram of protein only has 4 calories. A gram of carbohydrate only has 4 calories, but a gram of fat has 9 calories. Also, you have to be careful with your lean proteins and your shellfish, because if they're not cooked in an MCT oil, and you have at a restaurant and they cooked in a vegetable oil or corn oil or some long chain triglyceride, even olive oil, then you're turning that 7 and 1 into a category 4. Let me stop that in case we have new people or people that have forgotten. Is everybody aware when you eat at a restaurant, if you order salmon, which is normally a category 1, at that restaurant, you have to treat it like a 4. Is everybody aware of that? They have infused fat into it, and the kind of fat that's easily stored as a fat. So where at home I could have grilled salmon or prepared in MCT oil, and I could have asparagus and baked potato, I can't do that eating out. That would be, I can do it, but that would be a holiday. Make sense? Any questions about that? That's a point that often gets overlooked and missed, especially eating out. Because when you eat out, you're already going to pick up sneaky calories. I'm telling you, you could eat salmon and asparagus at home and be under 400 calories. Try that at a restaurant. You're going to be talking about 1,000. Where's all those extra calories coming from? It's coming from the fat that they cooked into it. If I know that I'm eating out, like let's say that I knew Saturday night I'm eating out. When I get up tomorrow, Travis ain't eating. I'm not eating. I'm gonna have a Tiger 24 on that day. If I do need something, it's gonna be light. It's gonna be like a little Mighty Muffin or a shake. I'm gonna really limit the calories so that when I get to dinner, I can enjoy that dinner without the guilt and the regret and feeling like I'm putting on fat. That's just a strategy. Does that make sense, everyone? When I go to church with mom and dad, I kind of know if I ride with them that afterwards, daddy's going to get a hankering for that Mexican restaurant. And for that reason, I know that on my Sundays, if I can't resist after church, that it's going to be a 1 meal a day kind of thing, because all that oil that's just floating in that stuff that I'm going to sop up, as long as I don't have the carbohydrate or fruit with it, I'm going to be fine. But it's still calories that I have to deal with. Any questions or comments about restaurants or anything like that? Somebody told me a couple of days ago that I ask for questions and then I start back talking too fast. So I want to give you a second to ask. Don't be shy. Everybody good? All right, let's go back over to, is this okay? Now, again, y'all are not going to hurt my feelings. We have limited time, and I want to bring you stuff that's meaningful to you on your journey. That's why I love to hear from y'all and teach on those things that the group corporately is kind of feeling. Is this okay to do this? Yellow column, dinner time, y'all like this? Okay, we're going with Amanda. Amanda is a woman of influence and power, and we're going with Amanda. She says we're doing this. All right, so we've got our yellow column. Good stuff here. Whoop. Let's go to our meal ideas. I'm on my digital worksheet. Now, think about how many times the diet devil has told you you're confused. This is so confusing. Look at what we unpacked with relative ease yesterday, just from our yellow column. And this is extreme weight loss, everybody. A mighty muffin for breakfast, Greek plain yogurt with berries and spark, a seafood omelet, egg whites and bacon, eggs and bacon, egg white and spinach omelet, GC control with strawberries. Lunchtime, 2 tacos at the Mexican restaurant, no shell and salsa. London broil over a salad with approved dressing. Shrimp and approved tortilla. Pintos and collards. Peanut butter wrap. 200 calories of just peanuts with my diet soda that I shouldn't be drinking. Flounder with almonds on top and a side salad. All of that sounds pretty delicious to me. And to think that I could just focus on this for a week and drop anywhere from 1 to 5 pounds of fat, that is amazing. Let's unpack some dinner ideas, traditional dinner-like ideas. So we're still playing with the yellow column. What are some meal ideas that's in the yellow column that we could add to our list here? Joan asked, on the red column, what is the HHF? I believe she's asking. That stands for hemp hearts, hemp flakes. Let's unpack that for a moment. Hemp hearts, hemp flakes are one of the, if not the most nutritious food on the planet Earth. They're non-allergenic. They last, they're shelf stable for a long time. They're full of every nutrient. They're one of the few plants that have almost every essential amino acid. They're amazing. A hemp heart and a hemp seed goes in category 6, superfood. A hemp flake goes in category 1, but it's like having a 1+2. I pull those out because sometimes I'm helping people break plateaus, and the best plateau breaker, the most healthiest, nutritious whole food meal in the world is any lean protein that is a meat with 2-3 tablespoons of hemp hearts or hemp flakes cooked in MCT. You will bust through walls and plateaus like there's no tomorrow. The great Patricia Hurt could attest to this. When she hit a plateau, she started doing, I believe it was tilapia and hemp flakes or hemp hearts. You're getting all the nutrients that the human body needs, especially if you're adding your peak performance. So I pulled it out because they're superior to all other foods in that category with them. So hemp hearts or hemp flakes. If your question is about which is better for weight loss, a hemp flake. If you're asking which is better long-term for overall wellness and still good for weight loss, hemp hearts. They have regenerative powers. Hey, Carrie Rogers. Anybody else? Hey. Good question, Miss Joan. All right, let's go back. Let's come up with some dinners. What dinners can we have here? What's a traditional like dinner? You could have the breakfast for the dinner. It's just we're talking in traditional terms right now. What are some yellow column? Frida's asking while I'm waiting on y'all to give me ideas, when do you use hemp powder? You can add a scoop of it, a serving of it to any of your approved shakes. Turn it into a super shake. I would be careful about adding it to just anything. It's still calories. The best way to have it would be mixed in an approved beverage, but it doesn't taste that great compared to what's on the market. So if you're wanting to incorporate it, you're going to have to use a recipe to make it enjoyable. You can add it to any of your approved shake recipes. Just don't go over 250, 300 calories for the total meal, because that's a pre-digested meal. Let's take a look what we got some coming up here. Darla, chicken salad sandwich, egg salad sandwich, tuna salad. So we've got a 1 and a 2. Good deal. So we're going to do chicken salad, egg salad. Egg salad is one of my favorite things. My mom makes the best egg salad. I ain't had that in a while either. Tuna salad. Let's do it in a wrap instead of on bread, in a -2 or -3 wrap. If you'll move to wraps, you could do the bread, but if you move to wraps, you'll be doing yourself a favor, especially like the -2, -3 tortillas or wraps. Good job here. Chicken Cobb salad. Amanda, would you refresh let's just go look at it. We got time to just go look at it. Let's go do that and we'll unpack and see what column that should be in together. I think I'm hoping that going through this, it gives you insight into why and how we put stuff together. And then you can make the link as it regards other things that may confuse you. Chicken Cobb salad. All right. So let's take a look at all this information and let's see what combination this probably should fall. So we've got a chicken Cobb salad. It's a -1 on the weight loss meter. Is that pretty good for weight loss? Is that pretty good? That's pretty good. Here's what's in it. Now, y'all help me play along. We'll get to Penny's comment and other people's comments in a moment. Spinach. Oh, it's already got it there for you. Spinach is a category 2. Good work, Sir Jay. He has added. Him and Lisa have actually added the stuff. 4 cups of spinach. Now this is more than 1 serving. We've got a category 2. Chicken's a category 1. The boiled eggs are 4. So that kind of cancels out the 1. We've got a 4 approved bacon. Cucumbers a 2. Avocados a 6. Cooking oil, spices and seasoning. So in actuality, this would be a 4 + 2 + 6. So that's not allowed, is it? We got to talk about why this got fit in here. That's actually not allowed, right? If I'm not mistaken, unless I added it.
No, I had a question about that too, and I wrote that in there. I didn't know about the 6 being on there. So you could have it minus the avocado and it would count.
You can still have it, because watch. look at the portion. It's a half of an avocado. So this is like 4 servings. No, it says 2 servings. So you're only using a condiments portion of an avocado. So that's how they justified fitting that in there, no doubt in my mind. So it's still a 4 plus 2. See down here? It's a 4 plus 2 plus a condiment. So some things count differently depending on the portion. So if a full portion of an avocado is a category 6, but any food at 50 calories or less, now that has to be your total condiments, is going to be approved as a condiment. Does that make sense? Like I can use 50 calories or less of berries, and it's not a category 5. We tackled this in a Faithfully Fit class not long ago to demonstrate that up to 50 calories, I don't need any special combination. It's negligible. As long as I'm not adding 50 of this, 50 of that, 50 of this, 50 of that. When you get above 50 calories, I start needing protein and fiber to neutralize that. When you get above 100, when you get above 200, it goes higher. You need more protein and fiber. Plus, we've got a program we can run this through to make sure that our protein is much greater than our net carbohydrate. But we're good here with a yellow column. So if I go back to yellow, I've got my 4 plus 2 right here. Condiments are on all these without saying. Okay. I'm going to pause and look at some of these questions. Penny, you might have to refresh my memory on the question about a 4 and a 2. I see some meal ideas we'll write down in just a minute. Does the condiment have to follow the sugar and fat rule? No, we've got a good, better, best rule. We've got good, better, best rules, meaning your best condiment rule is what? Zero calories. So Walden Farms calorie free, right? But let's say that you want to you got people coming over, you want to eat in the right combination, and you want something very flavorful. You're not just going to use spices and seasonings and herbs and 0 calorie things. You need some A1 or whatever. So then we look at, all right, in a pinch here, what can I do? The 5, 2, and few rule. Anything is pretty okay if you pick it up and it's got 5 grams of sugar or less, 2 grams of fat or less, and then we just use a smidge. That's a good condiment. I'm not really worried about that. If it's A1, a barbecue sauce, 5, 2, and few. And then if you're really in a pinch and you're at a restaurant and you're wanting to make something taste better, you can use 50 calories of anything as long as it's a whole food meal. I'm not saying that will help you lose weight if you add 50 calories of sugar to a meal or 50 calories of honey to a meal, but you'll be okay because you're partnering it with a solid food combinations that's going to slow down the digestion of that condiment. Does that make sense? I have been asked, why don't we just have one rule? Either let it be 0 calories or because I like jiu-jitsu. There's levels to this game. And we start off, and maybe we do start off with, okay, I'm just going to focus on 0 calorie condiments. Then later, hey, I'm feeling more confident. 5, 2, and few looks good. I'm feeling even more confident. I'm in maintenance. I can use 50 calories of anything with that whole food meal, and I'll be okay. It gives you that variety. Variety pulls you away from success if you're not careful, but it also is the spice of life, and it's what keeps you in it long term. So we want to have the rules that are based upon your state of mind, your goals, good, better, best, fast, faster, or fastest. That's how I look at it. 1/3 cup of
Travis?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have one question and I don't want to go off on, but what get something to be like from a snack to a meal. So like I've been craving for some reason celery and peanut butter. So when do you count that as a snack or is that as a meal episode?
Good question. There is a formula, but we won't get into that right now. To answer that question, celery and peanut butter, that could be a meal. That's a 6 and a 2. Does everybody follow me? Anything that qualifies as a meal, half of it would also be able to be allowed for a snack. So basically what we're saying is if you keep that under 200 calories, you could call that a snack episode. Now, I have evolved over time. I used to allow myself 3 meals and 1 snack. We've changed the language over the last many years to call it eating episodes. I can still have 3 meals and 1 approved snack. But as I've been the Shibboleth human guinea pig, my best results have come from 3 eating episodes or less. And it doesn't matter if it's 2 approved snacks and a meal or 2 meals and a snack, but 3 eating episodes or less. You can count a snack as a full-on eating episode. And all you're saying is I had less calories than I normally would have if I had had a meal. But celery, if we look at our combination chart, celery is a 2, peanut butter is a 6. A 6 and a 2 works. So how and when can I classify it as a snack? Did I have under 200 calories of it? Then it's always, you can always class it as a snack. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. A snack needs less protein and fiber per calorie than a meal. Anything under 200 is going to require less protein and fiber. But for example, if I approve something that's prepackaged, if I approve this little bar as a snack, if I approve it as a snack, it doesn't necessarily mean that I can have 2 of them as a meal, because I approved it as a snack and it needed less protein and fiber. If I eat more of it, it may need more protein and fiber for me to be able to have it. And since it's processed, I can't fix it. I'm not going to be adding broccoli to it. I can't have, it doesn't have enough protein and enough fiber for me to have 2. So on the inverse, if something's approved as a meal, half of it can automatically be approved as a snack. That even relates to a real meal. So if I were having, for example, if I was having a meal of hamburger steak, lean hamburger steak category 1, hamburger steak, green beans, and corn, that's approved, right? We know that that's a meal. So I get satisfied early in the meal. I have leftovers. Half of that meal can be used later as a snack, up to half of it. It doesn't always have to be chocolate and salty. So I could use half of it later. In actuality, I just had a snack because I only ate half of it. And I can have another snack later if I eat exactly what's on the plate. In other words, if I save just the potato and try to eat the potato by itself later, that's a problem. But if I had half the hamburger steak, half the green beans or whatever, and half the potato, I could do the same thing later, and I've really only had 1 meal. I could count it a snack, however I want to look at that. Any meal has already been approved based upon it had protein and fiber in the right ratio to the net carbohydrate. Half of that will automatically always approve as a snack. But if I'm just looking at it and it's a little kind bar, well, it doesn't have enough protein and fiber typically to neutralize the net carbohydrate. But it's so few calories, I'm not going to need as much protein and fiber, therefore it's approved as a snack. But if I want to have 2 of them together, I can't call that a meal. I hope that made sense. That's always got to be a better way to explain that. But that's the only way I know how to explain it. Does that help anybody? Anybody didn't know that? Remember, it's all about enough protein and fiber per calorie as we go up the chain. More calories, the more protein and fiber we need. Hey, Darlene, we love having you here. All right, so we're going back. And we've already got some folks that's chimed in, and we'll go look at their meal ideas and see what we come up with. So we determined our chicken Cobb salad. Use, if you will, as few calories as a salad dressing as you will. I like Penny's coming up here. She's on it. Baby back ribs, portion controlled. Oh, you're making me hungry. Baby back ribs, butternut. Mom, are you watching? It's time for some more ribs. Those that you do that fall off the bone. This is not dieting, is it? Baby back ribs, butternut squash fries, and approved barbecue sauce. Penny, where did you come from? You are just crushing it. She knows her stuff. Baby back ribs, butternut squash fries, and approved barbecue sauce. Nailed it. Nailed it. Chicken breast and green beans. That's a good one. Always exercise on a plate. Barbecue chicken with sugar-free sauce and roasted veggies. We'll just add that one right here. Barbecue chicken and roasted veggies. Grilled chicken and green beans goes in that vein. Hebrew hot dog, a 1 and a 2. Good. Hebrew hot dog. Some condiments. Maybe I can add a little chili as a condiment, a little sauerkraut as a condiment, a little ketchup, mustard. Got me a good hot dog. Hamburger steak and sauteed onions. Onions, I'm going to add some bell peppers. I like sauteed onions and bell peppers with broccoli. Good. Turkey spam egg on a Thomas muffin. So I got a 4 plus a 2. Good one, Lisa. So some fried turkey spam on a Thomas light muffin with 1 egg. Beautiful. Beautiful. Does the condiment have to follow the sugar and fat rule? Well, you got 3 rules. You got, we prefer you to use no calories, so herbs and seasonings and Walden Farms calorie free. Your next rule is any condiment in the grocery store that you find that meets the 5-2 and few rule. 5 grams of sugar or less, 2 grams of fat or less, and then just use a smidge. That's the condiment rule. 1/3 cup. I filled this out. I'm going to save it. And then we'll talk about these others that's come up. Let's see. Seen Carl's name and then I lost it. Carl, 1/3 cup of fat-free cheese in an omelet. I don't count it as a condiment. You're using a lot of cheese. I like it. I do too. No problem, bro. The more the better when it's approved like that. So I got me a fat-free cheese omelet. Another thing you can do if you're having a line day is have you a delicious fluffy omelet, whole eggs, and full fat cheese. That's one of my favorite meals. Sometimes I have that for dinner, but I got to be having a line day to have that full fat cheese in any amount that's worth having. Butternut squash fries with Red Robin seasoning. I love it, Betty. Onion, okay, so a full portion of onion is a category 3. A condiment's worth, there's quite a bit there. The onions are low calorie, sauteed. You can, not that you would eat a raw onion. I had a family member one time that eat an onion like an apple, but that's a freebie. It's when you saute it, caramelize it, got to be careful a little bit with it. So if it's a full portion, anything under a 1/4 cup of onion, I'm not worried about. If you go above that, then you have to count it as a category 3. Now, this is a little bit of a fatefully fit kind of thing. Hard for me not to talk about some of this stuff, but onions and carrots and tomatoes and peas are great, perfect pairing items. So if you wanted more sauteed onions, they perfectly pair with any lean protein. And what that means is you don't have to have that category 2 taking up your plate. You could actually, instead of having onions here, broccoli here, hamburger steak here, you could have hamburger steak and then a whole side of sauteed onions because they're a perfect pairing item. Let me know if that made sense, Amanda. Grilled boneless center cut pork chops, 1/2 cup of green beans, love it. Rice cauliflower, 4+2. Butternut squash, okay, y'all still talking about that. Good. All right. Any other questions or comments? Did everybody get something out of this? Make sure that you've got some good takeaways that'll be helpful to you. Anybody on Facebook or anywhere? Hello, everybody on Facebook. This helpful to you? Good. And hopefully, and I'm curious, as we go through that, does it open your mind up about, does it make the other possible combinations less intimidating when you see how we're pairing them together and talk it through? Polly, I had to have some steroid shots for torn up shoulders, and that shot my sugar levels to over 300. Bless you, sis. Both of my shoulders are so torn, they need to replace. A1C has been below 6 for years since I found Shibboleth. Way to go. Don't overlook that collagen boost, Miss Polly. All right, Amanda's starting Monday with a fresh perspective. I love it. Good. Good. Anybody else? Questions, comments, anything at all?
Yeah, Travis, this is Carl. I sent y'all an email about the upcoming vault, and basically just didn't know if I needed to just contact y'all afterwards or what, but about joining it because it was requiring a credit card, thing.
Oh,
And
I got you.
I submitted proof that I bought the zip. When I sent the email, I did get me a thing of the zip, whatever it's called, the drink. Yeah.
I got to
Yeah,
figure
so-
out a more efficient way. The reason we don't need your credit card. The reason we put that up there, I got to find a different way with the developer. We were trying to keep people out of that challenge that just come to take a look at it. So somehow, because I hadn't seen the email, but Lisa's here, and what we'll do, Lisa will reach out to you, and she manually pulls you in there
Okay.
without you having to give any information.
Yeah. Like I said, I sent the email, but I didn't know if you were going to have time to see it.
I'm glad you brought it up because I missed so many emails. And anytime that y'all are needing something from me, and I'm not answering, get in touch with Lisa and Larry because they got my other phone too, and that they know how to get to me.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Lisa, did you catch Carl's? He's ready to get in the zip room, the
Hello,
vault.
sir. Hello,
Hey.
sir. Hello, Carl. I just
Hey.
I just replied to Carl this morning, and I'd added him to FF Club without the receipt, and then he sent me an email about it, and I replied to him.
Awesome. Awesome.
Good. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
We put that 500, probably wasn't the best idea, but it would have took Sergey a week to work it out. So we put $500 because that's the way to keep people out of anything.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody got any other questions? Polly's taking it and thinking about berberine. If your doctor approves, highly recommend it. So much better than a pharmaceutical in that the side effects. But now I'm not suggesting that you don't do what your doctor has prescribed, but you have to be careful if you're taking medication plus berberine. Talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. That's above my pay grade. But I would love to see you be able to reduce those medications with your doctor's approval down the road. Anybody else? I like what it's a good time to throw this in there. Amanda brought it up. Restarting on Monday with a fresh start. The Bible says the end of a thing is better than the beginning of a thing. The death of one better than the birth of one. We've got it backwards, don't we? And it goes on to tell us that God is able to make all things new, and not just one time. He can do that many times over the course of our lifetime. And I love what Amanda says, because she's like, I'm starting fresh. Something has ended, a season has ended, and she's going into a new season. It's fresh. She's ready to go. Try to be able to recreate that with yourself and with the Lord through prayer, because he can cause you and allow you to forget the former things and move forward. There's been things that I've been mentally stuck about for years, and I have tried my best to fix my own brain with the help of personal development, with the help of counseling, with the help of all kinds of, you name it. I couldn't do it. I can make a change for a little while. But our God, the great physician, when we humble ourselves and cry out to him, he is able to rewire things and just give you a whole new perspective that you wouldn't have had without plugging into him first. So we can all do that. Monday can be a fresh perspective for many of us here. All we got to do is decide and then cry out to God and say, I need your help. I can't do this alone. If I could do it alone, God, I would have already done it. So there is a sin. One of the categories is the pride of life, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life. Don't be prideful. You know, if you say, I have failed before, that's a type of pride. Well, who are you? I have to look myself in the mirror all the time and say, quit taking yourself so seriously. You act like the whole world was upon your shoulders and you let everybody down. That is arrogance. Who are we but the dust of the earth? God orders our steps. So we can't make one hair white, one hair black. You are here right now for a reason. And if you ask God to help you, like I'm sure Amanda did, you can get that fresh perspective on Monday. All right. Do it today. Anybody got anything before we go?
Yeah, I want to add to that. Yeah, I would say just, get your 48 hours, and then Monday, then you're in fat burn, you know what I mean? That way you're 2 days ahead,
Amen.
basically, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I love it. Great point, Carl. We don't have to waste the weekend, do we? We can be in fat burning on Monday morning. Lock it down and rip off the knob. All right, everybody good? All right, I believe if Lisa and I can pull it off, we're having our first session tomorrow morning. Lisa, did we decide at 10:30 Saturday? I believe we did 10:30, right? We're going to do our recipe conversion class. And what we're doing with that, all Faithfully Fit members, no charge for that recipe conversion class. We'll be doing those on Saturdays. We'll take recipes, yours or mine, and we'll show you and teach you how we convert them. Excuse me. Be a great in-depth lesson. No charge to our Faithfully Fit members, no charge to our partners. If it's not a Faithfully Fit member or partner, it's $1 a month. we will be very appreciative if a Faithfully Fit member or partner wants to give $1 a month for it. That will help us. We're trying to find creative ways to cover our expenses each month. It's a separate line item, but we're not going to ask Faithfully Fit members or partners to pay $1 extra a month. Y'all are already doing so much for Shibboleth and for the family. But if you're not in one of those two categories, it's $1 a month. Anybody that feels like giving us that extra $1, we'll take it. And Sherry Baxter, Lisa, I'm sure you see that. Sometimes I can't tell. Yeah, it's to everyone. I would love the recipes for the last zip. If you can help her. All right. We'll close out in a quick word of prayer, and we sure do appreciate you all. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. 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 Darla needs them too, sis. She works hard, doesn't she? And by the way, y'all know who you are. I did get your message about giving the girls a donation, giving them your donation, Lisa and Lara. And I know they'll tell you I always do. I don't do it on that day because there are fees associated with it. So what I do is bonus them per your instructions when it's payday time. And they always are so grateful. They have taught me how to have much more gratitude in my life. Two special human beings, Lara and Lisa. And thank you. You know who you are. Thank you for sending that and asking me to get it to them, and I sure will. All right. Thank y'all so much for all you do. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.